Getting your first muscle up on the rings is a huge step in your body weight journey. And I'd imagine that more of you are closer to getting your first muscle up than you would think. So use the steps in this video to get your first muscle up. Let's get to it. We teach all of our primal athletes the muscle up because it's a bang for your buck exercise. You get pressing strength, pulling strength, mobility, and let's be honest, it feels and looks really cool. Before we talk about technique, let's talk about the 2 prerequisite movements that you'll want to master before you start working on your muscle up. The first one is the chin up. We want to be able to do 3 really good chin ups. A really good chin up means you get the rings to your clavicles or even potentially further at the top, and you're able to hold that position for at least a second before you go down. You want to be able to control your reps, never dropping anywhere, and hopefully be able to go all the way to the bottom to a complete dead hang. The second movement is the dip. Now you want to make sure that you can do 3 really solid dips, and same thing as the chin up, you want to make sure that they're full range of motion. You're able to get the rings all the way up into your armpits. That's going to be key for making sure that you have not only the strength and the mobility to be able to master the muscle up. If you haven't quite mastered the strength or mobility for these exercises yet, that's okay. Just continue working on your chin up and your dip to get more strong or more mobile or both. And you can get a head start on the technique with the exercises in the next portion of this video to make sure you're on the trajectory to get your first muscle up. The first step in learning the technique for the muscle up is mastering the false grip. Now, the false grip is how you get from below the rings to above the rings without ever having to slide the ring in your hands. The way we accomplish this is by grabbing the ring in a very specific fashion. You'll want to grab on in this diagonal fashion where the ring runs from the crook here between your thumb and your pointer finger all the way diagonally to this crook here in the side of your wrist, okay? So we grab it like this, and then you curl your wrist over as hard as you can so that even when you're below the rings, your hand is still on top of the rings. That's what allows us to get through a transition and be able to push through the dip without ever having to change the grip or slide on the ring. For working on the mobility of the false grip, there's a really easy exercise you can do. Place your fists on the ground, put weight into your fists, and then slowly lower to the back of your hand. Do that for about 10 reps, keeping that fist as tight as you can. Then on your last rep, try to curl the wrist as hard as you can, squeeze your fist as hard as you can, and lift up from the ground. You're gonna feel your forearms tense up really hard, and you may even get them to cramp. That's a good thing, go after it. One of the best ways to strengthen your false grip is to grab your rings in false grip when doing your ring rows. Real simple exercise, lean back and pull. The hardest part about false grip is always getting the elbow straight. So really work to keep that false grip even when you're getting to that fully locked out elbow. Once you've got your false grip down, it's time to start working on the transition from below to above the rings. Now, the key to the transition is from the bottom, when you're below the rings, you're at the top of your chin up, you're trying to get the rings as close together to each other as you can, and the rings as close to you as you can. So try to touch the rings together and touch the rings to you. Then from there, you're gonna try to rip your shirt off like your Hulk Hogan brother, right? Rip your shirt off, get those rings into your armpit, okay? Rip your shirt off, Hulk Hogan style, rings into armpit. That is the transition. The best way to drill the transition is just to hang your rings up about chest height and just move the rings in that fashion and really get used to it. All right, you're ready to start working on the muscle up. So the easiest way to start working on the muscle up is to start with your feet on the ground and the rings just at eye level. And all you do is jump through your transition and land at the bottom of that dip. And you can finish the dip if you want or not. It's inconsequential. What you want to get used to is going from beneath and behind the rings to above and in front of the rings. From there, all you have to do is start increasing the intensity of the exercise by either hanging your rings higher or jumping less. If you're really close and you can't quite get there, remember that speed and momentum are okay when you're getting your first one. So pull really fast on the way up and you can throw yourself forward to get in front and on top of the rings. That might be the way you get your first one, and then you can start working on slowing it down, because that's what looks good in the long run. Take your new knowledge, set up your rings outside, and get your first muscle up. Check out the Primal Athlete in the links below. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you later.